Please, the madman cried. I am hungry. I have not eaten in 3 days. Just a little change, or I will end it all. Vanessa spat onto the asphalt. Tss. Die and let us pass. You are polluting the air with your stench. The madman looked at them, tears cutting paths through the dirt on his cheeks.
We have a reservation at
Then let the river take me. The sound was like a gunshot. The dirty water swallowed the old man instantly. Jessica cheered, her voice high and shrill. She whipped out her phone. Oh my God, this is going to get so many likes. Hashtag suicide beggar. Hashtag Lagos drama. Vanessa folded her arms. Good riddance. Now the road is clear. Boys, let's go. The two princes looked down with mild curiosity, but suddenly, whoosh, a blur of orange rushed past them. It was Mary, a poor girl who sold fruits. She had been watching, her breathing heavy. She didn't think twice. No! Mary dropped her heavy metal tray, clang, and the oranges rolled everywhere. She climbed the railing and dove headfirst into the deadly brown current. The water hit Mary like a concrete wall. It was freezing cold. She swam blindly into the murky darkness. The current was strong. She kicked hard, her hand brushing against something heavy. It was the old man. She grabbed his ragged shirt. He was sinking fast. Panic flared in her chest. Her lungs burned for air. Go. I cannot let him die, she told herself. She wrapped her arm around his neck, kicking her legs. She fought the river. Her hand slipped on the slime of a rock, but she found purchase. With a final desperate burst, she broke the surface, dragging air into her lungs. The princes and their girlfriends walked slowly down to the riverbank. Step, step, step. They looked clean and untouched. On the mudbank, the scene was chaotic. Mary had dragged the old man onto the shore and collapsed. Cough, cough. She was shivering violently. She crawled over the old man's chest, pressing her hands down hard. Papa, breathe. Please, breathe, she cried. She tore her own wrapper to wipe his slime from his face. Vanessa covered her nose. Ew, she said. Ugh, look at that. 2 rats rolling in the mud. Why did she even save him? Tss, now he would just beg us for money again. Vanessa kicked a small stone at Mary. Hey, move him away from our car. He smells like death. Mary stopped pumping the old man's chest. She froze. Slowly she looked up, her breathing shaking with rage. Have you no fear of God? He is a human being. He is someone's father, someone's son. How can you be so heartless? He is nobody, Prince Obinna said coldly. You just wasted your time. Let's go, babe. Prince Emeka laughed softly. Maybe we should toss a coin. Suddenly, the old man coughed. It was loud and deep. He sat up abruptly, spitting out river water. But he didn't look confused. He stood up slowly. As he rose, his posture changed. He unfolded himself like a giant. He wiped the mud from his eyes and looked directly at Prince Obinna. Nobody? The beggar asked. His voice thundered like a drum. You call your father nobody? The princes froze. Papa? Emeka whispered, his voice trembling. It can't be. The beggar reached up and tore the dirty wig off his head. He peeled off the fake scars. Underneath the grime was the sharp face of King Igwe, the wealthiest man in Africa. The silence was deafening. Vanessa dropped her handbag. Thud. Jessica's phone slipped and shattered. Sha! The king, Jessica stammered. But you were eating from the gutter. King Igwe's eyes burned with fire. He took a step forward, heavy footstep. I smell like the truth. I disguised myself to see what hearts you truly possessed. Papa, we didn't know. It was a mistake, Obinna cried. If we knew it was you. Stay back. He pointed a shaking finger at Vanessa and Jessica. I stood before you begging for bread and you told me to die. You laughed. You laughed. He turned to his sons. And you, my own blood, you watched the stranger drown and checked your watches? The sons fell to their knees in the mud. Thud. Please, father, forgive us. We were foolish, Emeka cried. King Igwe turned away. He looked down at Mary, who was bleeding from a cut on her arm. The king's face softened. Stand up, my daughter, he said softly, offered her his hand. Come. Mary took the king's hand, confused and terrified. She looked down at her muddy dress, then at the royal hand holding hers. Her hands were shaking violently. Sir, I don't understand, she whispered. You risked your life for a madman, the king said. his voice breaking with thick emotion. "You lost your tray of oranges, your livelihood, to save a man who had nothing to give you but wet rags." He snapped his fingers. The sound cracked through the air like a whip. Immediately, 20 royal guards emerged from the bushes where they had been hiding, dressed in black tactical gear and holding assault rifles. The Slay Queen screamed, clutching each other. "Ah! Arrest these 2 women," the king ordered, pointing at Vanessa and Jessica. "Charge them with attempted murder by negligence and public disturbance. Make sure the press gets their mugshots." The guards moved in, grabbing the women by their arms. "No, baby, please," Vanessa cried, fighting the guards. She lunged for Prince Obina's leg. "It was just a prank. We didn't know." Obina kicked her hand away, looking at her with pure disgust. "Don't touch me. You make me sick." As the guards dragged the screaming women away, "Let me go! Let me go!" King Igwe turned back to Mary. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his royal signet ring. It was a heavy gold band with a lion engraved on it, sparkling with diamonds, worth millions of naira. He took Mary's dirty, mud-caked hand. "My daughter," he said gently. Mary tried to pull away, shrinking back. "Sir, I am too dirty. I will stain you." "Gold does not fear dirt," the king said firmly. He placed the ring into her palm and closed her fingers over it. "Today," the king announced, his voice echoing for his ashamed sons to hear, "you are the only royalty here. You have the heart of a queen." Mary looked at the ring, then up at the king, tears cutting clean paths through the mud on her face. "Thank you, sir." The drive back to the palace was a journey between 2 worlds. Mary sat in the back of a silver Rolls-Royce Phantom. The leather seat smelled of vanilla and power. She was wrapped in a heated wool blanket, shivering slightly from the shock. She touched the window, watching the slum she lived in fade away. Outside the window, she saw Prince Obina and Prince Emeka following the convoy in a security van. Their heads were bowed. They looked like beaten dogs. The king looked at Mary. "Are you warm enough?" "Yes, sir," she whispered, still afraid to touch anything. When they arrived, the palace gates opened like the entrance to heaven. Warm. King Igwe led Mary inside, his arm around her shoulders. The hallway was lined with marble statues and paintings of ancestors. "Give her the emerald suite," the king commanded, the headmaid. "Burn her old clothes, dress her in the finest silk, get the best doctors in Lagos to treat her wounds." Mary stopped, her feet digging into the plush carpet. "Sir, I cannot stay. I must go back to the market. My mother is waiting for the money from the oranges." The king smiled warmly. "Your mother is already being picked up by my personal driver. She will never have to sell another orange again. Tonight, she dines like a queen." The next morning, Mary woke up in a bed that was bigger than her entire house in the village. Sunlight streamed through massive glass windows, illuminating the gold leaf ceiling. She stretched her arms. She walked to the floor-to-ceiling mirror. The doctors had treated her cuts with soothing balms. She wore a robe made of the finest white silk that felt like water against her skin. She didn't look like an orange seller anymore. She looked like a queen. Suddenly, "Knock, knock. Come in," she called out. It was Prince Obina. He looked broken. His arrogant swagger was gone. His eyes were red and puffy. He held a large bouquet of imported red roses. "Mary," he said, his voice trembling with a vulnerability she had never seen. "May I come in?" Mary crossed her arms, her face stern. "This is your father's house. You can do what you want." Obina walked in and knelt on the expensive Persian rug at her feet. "I have been a fool. Seeing you in the water, fighting for a stranger, it changed something inside me. I want to make it up to you." Mary looked at the roses. They were beautiful, deep red like blood, but thorns were hidden underneath. "I don't want your flowers," Mary said calmly. Obina looked up shocked. No woman had ever rejected him. Usually, a smile and a gift were enough to buy anyone's forgiveness. I want to marry you, he blurted out, desperation in his eyes. My father says I must find a good wife or lose my inheritance. But I see now, you are the one. You have the heart of a lioness. He reached for her hand. Mary stepped back. You want to marry me to save your money? She asked. No, it's not like that, Obinna stammered. I admire you. Mary laughed, but it was a cold, sharp sound. Mary stepped closer to him, her eyes fierce. Yesterday, you watched me drown, she said, her voice rising. You checked your watch because you were hungry. You called me a rat. You looked at me like I was garbage. Obinna flinched, as if she had slapped him. Today, you love me, Mary continued. Your love is like the wind, Prince Obinna. It changes direction too easily. If I was still in my muddy clothes selling oranges, would you be kneeling here? Obinna opened his mouth, but no words came out. The truth hung in the air. I didn't think so, Mary whispered. She walked to the massive mahogany door and opened it wide. Great! Get out! I am not a prize to be won so you can keep your oil wells. Go find another Vanessa. Shlam! Obinna left the room stunned and humiliated. He walked slowly to his father's study. King Igwe was sitting behind his desk, sipping herbal tea. Sloop. He was watching the security footage of Mary rejecting the prince on a monitor. She refused me, Obinna told the king, his head hanging low. King Igwe smiled, putting down his cup. Clink. Good. She is not cheap. If she had said yes immediately, I would have chased her away myself. The king stood up. This is how real men act. The king held out his hand. Give me your credit cards. Give me your car keys. Give me your phone. Obinna's eyes widened. Papa, how will I survive? You are cut off, the king declared. Go out there, get a job, learn how to be a man. If you return before you are worthy, the gates will be locked. Obinna handed over his keys. Jingle, jingle. He stood there, stripped of his power, his wealth, and his pride. Obinna walked out of the palace gate with nothing but the clothes on his back. He went to his best friend, a rich man named Chief Tunde. Tunde, my brother, Obinna stood at the gate. My father kicked me out. Can I sleep in your guest house for a few days? Chief Tunde laughed in his face. Obinna the prince, with no money. Sorry, bro, I don't run a charity. Bang. Obinna went to another friend. Rejection. He went to a hotel, but his cards were declined. Zip, zip. That night, the prince slept on a cardboard box under a bridge, the same bridge where his father had jumped. Mosquitoes bit him. It was cold. He was hungry. For the first time, he understood what Mary felt every day. He cried himself to sleep. 1 month later, Mary was walking near a busy, dusty market road, clutching her handbag. She was heading to visit her mother. A reckless driver sped down the road. Vroom! He hit a large pothole filled with dirty rainwater. Splash! Mary flinched, closing her eyes, expecting the cold, muddy spray to ruin her clothes. But the water never hit her. Thud! Someone had jumped in front of her. Mary opened her eyes. It was Obinna. He was wearing a cheap, torn t-shirt and jeans stained with oil. He was soaked in brown sludge. His hands were covered in blisters and calluses. Are you crazy? Mary shouted. Obinna turned around, wiping mud from his face, just like she had wiped his father. He smiled, though he looked ridiculous. I am sorry, he breathed, out of breath. I don't have my car to drive you. I don't have money for a taxi. I just have me. He sat on the dirty curb, dripping wet. You missed the spot, Mary said softly. She sat down beside him on the curb, ignoring the dust. She handed him a tissue. Obinna looked at her. I have a job now, he said proudly. I pack boxes at the warehouse. It's hard work, my back hurts, but I earned this shirt with my own money. Mary smiled, feeling a warmth in her chest. I know, I saw you yesterday. You looked happy. Suddenly, a black limousine pulled up to the curb. Tires screeched. The royal guard stepped out, looking frantic. Prince Obinna, Mary, come quickly, they shouted. The king is dying. He has collapsed. Dramatic music swelled. Obinna and Mary rushed into the car. They sped to the palace. They ran up the stairs to the master bedroom. Pat, 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 pat. King Igwe lay in his massive bed, hooked up to machines. Beep, beep, beep. He breathed heavily. My son, The king gasped, his voice barely a whisper. I am fading. Have you learned your lesson? Obinna cried, falling to his knees and holding Mary's hand tight, sobbing. I don't care about the money. Keep it all. I just want your blessing to be with her. She is my life. She taught me how to be human. The king closed his eyes. The room went silent. The beeping stopped. Then, cough, cough. And then, loud, hearty laughter. The king sat up, ripped off the fake heart monitor stickers, and smiled, full of energy. Another test, the king boomed. And you passed. Obinna dropped his jaw. Papa? The king looked at Mary and Obinna, beaming with pride. True gold is not found in the ground, but in the heart. You have found it. As Obinna kissed Mary, the king winked at the camera. Welcome to the family, my daughter. Now, let us plan a wedding. Moral of the story. When the king dressed in rags, the queens saw trash, but the orange seller saw a human being. In life, never look down on anyone, because the person you ignore today could be the one you need tomorrow. Viewer question. If you were Mary, would you have forgiven Obinna and married him, or would you have taken the king's money and walked away? Tell me your honest answer in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more shocking stories like this.